full horror moment. When you first meet the narcissist and are seduced by them, invariably you are treated to the veneer. This is what covers up the devaluing behaviour that exists and will most likely be visited upon you, especially if you become the intimate partner primary source. You're given no inkling whatsoever as to what is waiting for you. No indication that this is coming down the line, that it's in the post and will be visited upon you. Instead, you may get the golden period. Everything wonderful, charming, exciting, scintillating, bursting with love, gifts, flattery, compliments. Or the bronze period. The less exciting, less able, less expensive cousin of the golden period. There's no indication as to what you're dealing with, and even where you might get a portentous remark or a little glimpse when the veneer cracks, you don't really see it for what it is. But later, much later, you invariably experience a full horror moment. And this is when you make a shocking discovery about the narcissist that you are entangled with. More usually, it arises out of the romantic dynamic. But it can include familial dynamics and less so social or work dynamics. The full horror moment is when you make a discovery about that person, the person that you are in love with, the person who lit up your world, who made your dreams come true, has fulfilled your desires. You find out about this individual, something which in essence tears your world apart. Everything that you thought this person was goes out of the window. You look upon them with horrified eyes, a realization that you didn't know this person at all. A shocking discovery which takes your breath away, amazes you and stuns you. It might be that you make the discovery following your escape or when you have been disengaged from, but more usually you experience the full horror moment whilst the relationship is ongoing. It occurs during devaluation. When you have the golden period or the bronze period, you have no suspicions about the narcissist. There may be one or two things which, with hindsight, you think, yes, that was a bit strange. And even unusually, if you think that at the time, your emotional thinking and your lack of understanding about narcissism, even if you were to recognize it, means that you don't act upon these red flags when they appear. And invariably, there is no full horror moment at that earlier juncture because we're able to keep that under wraps. However, when you enter devaluation, your suspicions are kindled because of the way that we're behaving, that suddenly our phone is never out of our sight or our possession, that we disappear without explanation, that you call and you can't get hold of us, that there are a variety of reasons why you become suspicious about our whereabouts, us turning up late, strange scents upon us, inconsistencies in what we've explained to you, suddenly spending lots of time in the study or an office as we create that bolt hole. You may have had your suspicions about us and our behaviour, and therefore you decide to check the telephone of the narcissist, only to find that your seemingly heterosexual partner has been subscribing to gay dating sites, has been arranging hookups with same-sex partners, and engaging in a way of life that was completely unbeknown to you. In an alternative, it might be an instance where the husband opens his wife's post mistakenly to find that there is a huge credit card bill and a pattern of spending upon items which he never realized she had any interest in. And this then puts him on the trail of other financial car crashes, realizing that the financial picture that she portrayed is far from the reality. Whilst no less horrific, the full horror moment isn't where you have been punched or raped by the narcissist, kicked out of the home by them, or a similar interaction. The full horror moment covers those discoveries which occur without the narcissist being physically present at the time. So it is not so much what the narcissist has done to you at that moment, but something that the narcissist has been engaging in behind your back, and that you then discover. And when you do, you invariably find it out without the narcissist telling you, without the narcissist being there. That you come across a piece of information, that somebody tells you something, that you look at an internet history, that you find something on the phone that causes you to feel sick, causing you to need to sit down and sending you reeling. There may have been several items which came together. Some of those outcomes might be things such as you find out that the narcissist had said something particularly unpleasant and heinous about you to other people, friends and family members, when you thought that they praised you and adored you. That you've discovered gay material. That you've realised that the narcissist is actually leading a double life. For instance, that they have a second family. That there are children that you've never heard of. You suddenly realise that there has been a string of multiple infidelities, and you hadn't a clue that this was going on. It might have been that you found huge debts being incurred, or that you've discovered the use of prostitutes, or you found out that the individual has an interest in child pornography. There might be extreme or fetish material, or you've suddenly found that the narcissist doesn't work in the job that they've portrayed, that they don't actually have a job, or they do something else entirely. You might have discovered that the living arrangements are not as described. Or you might have found that the narcissist has an extensive virtual fuel matrix of which you had no knowledge, whereby there is extensive online flirtation and interaction with people who live locally and people who live internationally. All of this shatters the view that you had of the narcissist and brings you crashing down to earth. Of course, this is all done by the narcissist in your devaluation period because of the sense of entitlement, the lack of accountability, and a lack of emotional empathy. This is the full horror moment, and whilst not everybody experiences it, many people do, and it is something which then can often kickstart the process of escape, if the individual is able to overcome their emotional thinking. It invariably leads the victim to confront the narcissist, which will result in course of a challenge to the narcissist's control, and the narcissist will respond with initially denial and then falling back, if the denial can be broken through, on the second line of the twin lines of the narcissistic defense, as I've explained in the video of the same name. The narcissist may be dismissive. So what? So what if I've been using prostitutes? If you had sex with me more often, I wouldn't need to do it. Blame shifting. Or, it's not that extreme what I'm interested in, everybody's into it. Diminution. Or, I told you about this already. I don't know what you're making a big fuss about it for. Gaslighting. Of course, your threat to control cannot be allowed to persist. The full horror moment is experienced by many people. Is this something that you have experienced? And if so, share in the comments what it was and how you reacted to it. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.